Chapter 451. Turtleback Wolf Group. Urgent report. A large group of turtleback wolves has appeared 3,000 li ahead. They have a huge number, estimated to be a group of 10,000 wolves. Good Tribe's investigative Gu Master came running over and reported to Good Tribe Leader. Ge Tribe Leader's expression turned solemn and waved his hand to the Gu Master. Investigated again. Not long earlier, he had already received a letter Gu from investigative Gu Masters. But often in the battlefield, to prevent the letter Gu from being cut off by the enemies, investigative Gu Masters would come over to personally deliver the message. Turtleback wolf is the wolf species with the strongest defense. 10,000 of these wolves will be a difficult bone to chew. We have already ordered Gu Masters to lure them, but there has been no results. This wolf group is heading towards us. Humph. How long has it been since we started migrating? It seems Man Tribe doesn't want to let us go. Fortunately, these wolves are not fast, which leaves us time to arrange our formation. Good Tribe's elders made comments one after another. In the chaotic northern plains, none of the Gu Masters that could climb to a high position was a fool. Right now, all the elders had already realized the truth. Most of Good Tribe's troops had already halted their movements and formed into a circular formation. Large number of Gu Masters were nervously using Gu worms to erect high walls, archer towers, and many layers of defense. The higher-ups of the Gu Tribe were overseeing the situation from the central tent. Son. Gu Tribe Leader softly called. Father, I am here. Gu Guang immediately answered. Invite Lord Chang Shan to come over. At this battle, which concerned the survival of the tribe, Gu Tribe Leader was not willing to let go of any battle strength. Yes. Gu Guang bowed and left. He had just walked to the main tent when he saw Fang Yuan. Uncle. Gu Guang greeted cheerfully. Fang Yuan nodded his head, directly walking towards him, and said in a slightly urgent tone, I know about the wolf group's invasion. How is the situation? We have about 8 minutes before the wolf group reaches. Since our relocation, to prevent Man Tribe from playing tricks, Father had assigned light cavalries to scout a distance of 600 li. Gu Guang followed Fang Yuan and reported to him from the side. The two walked inside the main tent, which was situation on a mound. The mound had already been raised by using Gu worms. The higher-ups of Gu Tribe had excellent field of view from the mound. This was because they encountered the wolf group. If they had ran into the eagle or owl group, they would have dug a tunnel. Different methods dealt with different situations. Seeing Fang Yuan, the Gu Tribe higher-ups hurriedly greeted him. The atmosphere here was tense, like a storm was brewing. Our Gu Tribe is really fortunate to have Brother Wolf King to help us. I can be at ease. Gu Tribe Leader sighed and spoke with gratitude. The fate between me and the Gu Tribe is not shallow. Friends should help each other when they walk the same path. How is the situation? Fang Yuan asked. Please take a look. Gu Tribe Leader led Fang Yuan towards a table where there was a sheepskin which had a map drawn on it. He pointed towards it and introduced the surrounding terrain, Gu Tribe's defensive lines and wolf group's movement. Sir has arranged it properly. There is nothing wrong. Fang Yuan first praised, then pointed towards a mark on the map. Everyone's gaze followed his finger. It was a river beside their camp. Since there is such a danger area, why don't you use it for defense? Fang Yuan proposed. Brother might not know yet. We have already thought of it, but most of the troops have slow movement, and it will be too late by the time we reach the river, set up a camp again, and arrange new defensive lines. Gu Tribe Leader gave a bitter smile. For the tribe's migration, most of the tribesmen were using big stomach horses. However, due to many things being stored in the big stomach horses, their speed was slow. Ge Tribe's Gu Masters could quickly reach the riverside on the hump wolves. But most of the mortals would fall behind, and once the wolf group arrived, all the mortals might be annihilated. Without mortals, how could there be any future new Gu Masters in any tribes? Mortals were the cornerstone of all tribes. However, Fang Yuan gave a bright smile. Brother, I am also a northern plainsman. I naturally know this. We are not able to go to the riverside, but we can let the river come to us. The Gu Tribe's higher-ups' eyes brightened at these words. Right? We can dig a canal and draw in the river to help us defend. Turtleback wolves have heavy bodies and are unable to swim. Once they fall into the river, they will sink to the bottom and drown to death. Lord Tribe Leader, send the command quickly. Gu Tribe Leader also directly sent the command. I command Gu Chui, Gu Xiang, and Gumi to lead the 1st, 7th, and 18th troop respectively. Immediately stop all current tasks and go to the riverside to dig a canal. As for the 3rd, 5th, and the 16th troop, you shall take over the unfinished tasks of 1st, 7th, and 18th troop. Yes. The investigative Gu master outside the tent immediately received the order. Several breaths later, 3-letter Gu flew out separately towards distant locations. Fortunately, brother was here to guide us out of this bewilderment. The old tribe leader greeted Fang Yuan again with a grateful expression that came from the depths of his heart. Just relying on this suggestion from Fang Yuan, they could preserve around 100 Gu masters and even could reduce the casualties. He is the Wolf King after all. Instantly, all the Gu tribe's elders' gaze towards Fang Yuan faintly changed into that of praise and admiration. During this tense and busy period, time passed quickly. Investigative Gu masters came to the camp one after another to report the position of the wolf group. At the same time, they had also clearly scouted the numbers of the turtleback wolves, over 38,000, when the wolf group was only 800 li away from the camp. The tribe leader began to call back the investigative Gu masters orderly. By the time the wolf group reached 500 li away from the camp, the canal was formed and the river water was drawn in. When they reached 300 li, 3 defensive lines finished forming and combat troops were deployed urgently. The support and logistics Gu masters in charge of the construction retreated one after another, using primeval stones to quickly recover their primeval essence. They did not dare to relax for even a moment. When the battlefront was unable to endure, they would have to go as reinforcements. At 100 li away, everyone could see a large number of ghostly shadows of the wolves in the horizon. In the main tent, 8 investigative Gu were activated. Smoke rose and could be seen from all directions. Turtleback wolf group was mainly coming from the northern side. At the same time, there were also a lot of wolves coming from the northeast and southeast. As the wolf group neared closer and closer, all the mortals could see them clearly. Turtleback wolves possessed broad physique. Their whole body was dark green and had dark blue eyes. On their back was a shell like that of a turtle. This shell was very heavy and about 1/3 of a turtleback wolf's weight was due to it. Apart from defensive purpose, it could also store nutrition just like camels. The charging of a few tens of thousands of wolves caused the ground to start shaking. Fang Yuan walked out of the main tent and gazed at the grassland only to see large numbers of wolves moving on the ground. He then looked at the camp below. The Gu tribesmen were moving about busily without disorder. It was a normal thing to encounter beast attacks in northern plains. Thus, whether it were Gu masters or mortals, they had cultivated a strong mind. The first defensive line at the north was the first to meet the attack. Fight. A Gu master leader who was watching from a tower shouted loudly and threw a wind blade. Soon after, the surrounding Gu masters also began to make their moves. A row of wind blades flew far, cutting over dozens of turtleback wolves instantly. When the wolf group reached closer, the Gu masters abandoned the wind blades and used the more powerful fire Gu, lightning Gu, and so on. For a moment, countless colorful lights burst out in the battlefield, like simultaneously fired fireworks. Human shouts, furious wolf howls, and the piercing sound from the wind blades formed into a medley of sounds. The wolf group's offensive was like a rain that came unceasingly, and succeeded in charging over. They first came across the earth walls. The earth walls were thick, and their foundation had been reinforced with copper and iron. Countless turtleback wolves were badly bruised when they smashed against these earth walls and even died on the spot. However, the wolf group advanced wave upon wave. Some trampled upon the corpses and leapt high, while some clawed the earth walls to pierce through. Next, the defensive lines at the southeast and northeast also entered the battlefield. Shouting resounded all over the sky and casualties began to appear. Healing Gu masters began to show their worth. Because they had made sufficient preparations, the whole Gu tribe was moving very orderly. Look, it is a myriad wolf king. Someone shouted while pointing at a certain direction. Everyone immediately followed the voice and looked. This turtleback myriad wolf king was enormous. Even 10 times the size of a normal turtleback wolf was slightly inferior to it. Its tyrannical aura manifested as it crouched on the ground and howled, commanding the wolf group to divide. Turtleback wolf group divided into 5 to 6 groups and began to circle around the Gu tribe camp, searching for a hole in the defense. Like this, Gu tribe was surrounded by wolves from every directions, and battle unfolded everywhere. On a nameless hill outside of the battlefield, a group of man tribesmen were using Gu worms to conceal themselves and were using investigative Gu to observe the situation. The battle has started. Manhao smiled, taking joy in Gu tribe's calamity. Gu tribe actually channeled the river through a canal. Gu tribe leader is truly an old fox. But there are over 30,000 turtleback wolves. Even if Gu tribe is able to resist them, they would suffer serious losses. Manhong smiled coldly. His appearance was strikingly similar to the tribe leader Man Tu. He was Man Tu's eldest son and had a cultivation of rank 3 middle stage. Young tribe leader is right. Even if tribe can block the first wave of the wolf group, there is still the second wave and also third wave. Man Hao flattered. Although Man Hong was the eldest son, but he was still not truly the young tribe leader. However, Man Hao had already pledged his allegiance to Man Hong and was his zealous supporter. He called Man Hong his young tribe leader. It was a flattery and also his expectation. Young tribe leader? Man Hong did not refute and instead nodded his head. Father has given this important task to me. I will be establishing great merits by finishing this and might indeed be a young tribe leader when we return to the tribe. Unfortunately, that sneaky brat Man Duo did not come over. Otherwise, I could borrow the strength of others and conveniently get rid of that sinister brat. Man Duo might be somewhat intelligent, but his aptitude is lacking and he is simply not young tribe leader's match. Look, 100 Wolf Kings have made their move. Man Hao said 100 Beast Kings had ranked 2 goo worms residing in their bodies, and were very strong. Their appearance immediately caused the pressure on the goo tribe's frontline forces to increase greatly. The number of casualties increased sharply, and 200 to 300 Wolf Kings smashed the earth walls and pierced through the goo tribe's defense. Hee. Looking at the goo tribe's goo masters dying one after another, Man Hong showed a pleased, sinister smile. This ignorant bunch of fools actually did not join Man tribe. Now weren't they suffering their just desserts? Man Hong's smile stiffened. Through the investigative goo worm, he saw a wolf enslavement goo entering 100 Wolf King. It immediately changed its alignment and let out a howl, causing the wolves beside it to fall into chaos. Soon after, these turtleback wolves followed the Wolf King towards the goo tribe's camp and gathered under a goo master. Man Hong narrowed his eyes and looked at this goo master. Could this person be the Wolf King? Chang Shanin? Yes, young tribe leader. Man Hao confirmed. Man Hong scoffed. Father said he was the greatest uncertainty. Let me see what ability he has. Chapter 452, Intense Battle, 1/3. Look there, it is the great hero of Northern Plains, Chang Shanin. Chang Shanin struck. He truly is spectacular. The camp was cheering. Not only Man tribe, but even the tribe goo masters were looking at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had just tested his skills, subduing 100 Wolf King and instantly made several hundred turtleback wolves part of his force. It turned this battlefield into a safe zone. Chang Shanin, high up on the mound, old goo tribe leader looked at Fang Yuan's back view as he muttered, in everyone's mind, there was one question. The former Wolf King, the genius of Northern Plains, how much battle strength did he have left now? Fang Yuan looked at the tens of thousands of turtleback wolves in front of him with an earnest gaze. In other people's perspective, these wolves were a threat, but in Fang Yuan's eyes, these were presents sent to him. He was worried about not having enough wolves in his group, but if he could subdue these Wolf Kings, his battle strength would surge. At this time, it was a clear blue sky as sunlight shone down. Vision was clear as the battle was ongoing. Ge tribe had prepared sufficiently, having 3 earth walls to defend them, and also built water canals to divide the incoming wolves into segments, preventing them from encircling the goo masters. This was a terrain advantage. Looking at themselves, the tribe's goo masters were defending with young tribe leader Gu Guang leading. They were extremely safe. The tribe were united in defending against the wolf groups. Their hearts were as one. This was the most favorable condition. If I traveled alone, I would have to run away from a beast group of such a grand scale. But now, all the conditions were perfect for me. This is a godsend opportunity placed in front of me. How can I not make full use of it? Thinking so, Fang Yuan laughed cheerfully. His battle intent rose as he said to the people, everyone, come with me. Gu Guang and the others responded. Under Fang Yuan's lead, the goo masters started to move their formation, going to another area of the battlefield. Bam! A tall arrow tower fell onto the ground, smashed into pieces. The culprit behind this roared loudly as it battled a dozen rank 2 goo masters around it. This was 100 Wolf King. At this point, all the wolves around it had died. It was battle alone fiercely. The surrounding goo masters used their goo worms to attack from a distance, trapping it as they whittled away its life slowly. On the battlefield, there were 3 goo master corpses. At this point, Fang Yuan and the others ride their hump wolves and arrived. Wolf enslavement goo. Go. Fang Yuan pointed with his finger and the rank 2 wolf enslavement goo turned into a light smoke, landing on this 100 Wolf King's body. The Wolf King howled angrily, unwilling to be enslaved, resisting with all its energy. Fang Yuan's eyes shone as he suppressed it with his 100-man soul. The Wolf King whimpered as the smoke settled into its body, turning it into Fang Yuan's personal pet instantly. The 100 Wolf King sprawled on the ground, keeping its claws and teeth as its body was covered in injuries, oozing with blood. Healing Gu Master, Fang Yuan instructed, and a Gu Master walked out from behind him, activating his Gu Worm and healing this 100 Wolf King. This goddamn beast. He killed my brother. A young Gu Master who had entered battle still wanted to attack. Gu Kan, Gu Guang shouted, staring at this person. The young Gu Master's neck stiffened as he walked to the 100 Wolf King, kicking it fiercely, but did not try to kill it. Next, he covered his face and cried, sobbing uncontrollably. The surrounding Gu Masters felt a strong resonance with him. After the young Gu Master cried for a while, he raised his head, wiping his tears as he said, "Go, let's continue killing wolves. All right, let's follow Brother Gu Kan." This ordinary small group entered the battlefield again. Let's go to the next stop. Fang Yuan continued to move ahead. At the northwest area, 300 Wolf Kings broke through the earth walls and ravaging the line of defense. Fang Yuan quickly arrived. "I am Wolf King Chang Shanin. All Gu Masters listened to my instructions." With Gu Guang beside him, he successfully gained the commanding rights. "These 300 Wolf Kings, what are their respective Gu Worms?" Fang Yuan asked. Immediately someone reported. Fang Yuan's eyes shone as he split the people into 3 groups. Group 1 will lure the left 100 Wolf King and bring it to the second line of defense. Fang Yuan instructed. "Bring it there." A Gu Master was shocked, expressing his concern. Fang Yuan stared at him fiercely. "I said bring it over, so do as I say. This is an order." "Yes." Group 2, restrict the Wolf King on the right. Make sure you destroy its defensive Gu. "Yes." Group 3, follow me. Fang Yuan waved his hand and entered the battlefield personally. After a bit of battle, he used the wolf enslavement Gu. The light smoke was about to land, when this Wolf King shot out a flame that burnt the smoke away. Fang Yuan's expression turned cold. He felt heartache losing this rank 2 wolf enslavement Gu. Ge Guang scolded. "Why did it still have a firelight Gu? Please forgive me, young tribe leader. This is the first time this Gu has been used." The subordinate quickly reported. "Gu Guang, you are in charge of this firelight Gu. Use all methods you have. I will come back shortly." Fang Yuan saw that this Wolf King could not be handled in the meantime, thus he gave his instructions and passed the trouble to others. Meanwhile, he swapped his target to another Wolf King, using a wolf enslavement Gu. This Wolf King's defensive Gu Worms was already destroyed by Gu Masters. Without any accidents, Fang Yuan easily captured it. When he turned around, Gu Guang already created trees and sealed this 100 Wolf King's mouth with vines. It could not shoot out any more flames. "Good job." Fang Yuan praised as he used a wolf enslavement Gu. The 100 Wolf King watched the light smoke enter its body. After a mild resistance, it lost to the 100-man soul, becoming another one of Fang Yuan's pet. After keeping these 200 Wolf Kings, Fang Yuan turned around and captured the 100 Wolf King at the second line of defense as well. In just a short time, Fang Yuan divided the 300 Wolf Kings up and captured them one by one, resolving this crisis. Everyone was amazed. They continued following behind Fang Yuan, listening to his commands. Eventually, they realized that as long as they followed his commands, they would result in the least injuries or deaths possible. This Chang Shanin has some skills. Outside the battlefield, eldest son Man Hong used his investigative Gu Worm to watch Fang Yuan's performance, his expression sinking. His soul is a 100-man soul. It is not hard to subdue these 100 Wolf Kings. But just this cannot change the situation. It will depend on his wolf manipulation skill. Man Hao consoled at the side. Fang Yuan sat on the ground directly, holding 2 primeval stones as he recovered his primeval essence. Activating wolf enslavement Gu did not expend much primeval essence, but most importantly, it was the burden on his soul. Fang Yuan subdued 100 Wolf Kings one after another. He used his 100-man soul to suppress the Wolf Kings. After the competition between souls, Fang Yuan's soul became more impatient and impulsive, while the annoyed feeling in his heart intensified. If he left this symptom alone, he might develop dizziness, or worse, his soul might get damaged, losing his memories or lowering his intelligence. Fang Yuan closed his eyes and meditated, calming his mind and soothing his soul. After resting for a while, the 100-man soul stabilized. All his negative emotions vanished into thin air. "Everyone, continue following me on our conquest." Fang Yuan rode on his hump wolf as Gu Guang and the others followed. Like this, after moving around the battlefield for a while, Fang Yuan subdued 300 wolf kings and 800 ordinary turtleback wolves. Howl. Fang Yuan's actions angered 1,000 wolf king. Seeing his subordinates surrender to an enemy, this 1,000 wolf king howled as it led the wolf group towards Fang Yuan, attacking fiercely. A 1,000 beast king could control thousands of wild beasts, while also having several hundred beast kings under it. There were rank 3 goo worms in its body. Ignoring the wolf group, at least 3 cooperative goo master groups were needed to kill 1,000 beast king. If there were 3 rank 3 goo masters, they could barely match evenly with it. Seeing the 1,000 beast king charging over, Gu Guang and the others' expression changed. They were mostly rank 2 elites. Only Gu Guang was a rank 3 goo master. Don't worry, young tribe leader. We are here to give you a hand. Just at this moment, 3 Gu tribe elders came over. Fang Yuan had made an agreement with Gu tribe higher-ups in the main tent. Gu tribe had to help out in this. Ha ha ha, with your help, this wolf is as good as ours. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. An intense battle occurred. This 1,000 wolf king attacked in a frenzy. It used its claws and teeth, and was even able to summon a wolf-strength phantom. On the battlefield, it rampaged and moved about without restraints, attacking mercilessly. But on Fang Yuan's side, they had greater strength. For rank 3 goo masters, 1 rank 4 goo master, as well as a number of rank 2 elites. After 2 elders were mildly injured, Fang Yuan found a good opportunity and used a rank 3 wolf enslavement goo. The rank 3 wolf enslavement goo turned into a light smoke, much thicker than the rank 2 version, as it landed on the 1,000 wolf king. Fang Yuan used his 100-man soul to suppress it, and after a dozen breaths' time, the light smoke succeeded and completely fused into the 1,000 wolf king's soul. This was the first 1,000 beast king Fang Yuan subdued in this battle. After the 1,000 wolf king surrendered, the 200 wolf kings and several thousand ordinary turtleback wolves under it also changed allegiance. Such a great number of turtleback wolves revolted and switched to Gu tribe's faction, causing this part of the battlefield to cease battle. The entire wolf group only had around 15,000 wolf kings, but now one was taken by Fang Yuan. At this moment, even the myriad wolf king felt something amiss. It howled as a huge 4-leaf windblade rotated and shot towards Fang Yuan. 3-claw water dragon goo. A clan elder shouted, pushing with his hands as a light blue water dragon crashed into the windblade, exploding and causing a small drizzle. Fist stone goo. The second elder punched with his right fist, as a large rock was created in mid-air, flying forward like a fist, but was shaved by the windblade. Lightning web goo. The third elder shot out a large web made of lightning, covering the windblade. The windblade was weakened. After it was covered by the lightning web, it rotated furiously and cut the web open, but it was at its final moments. As it flew in the air, it slowly dissipated. Throughout the whole process, Fang Yuan did not do anything. Ge tribe's Gu masters were very protective of Fang Yuan, even if he was a rank 4 Gu master that had higher cultivation than them. Enslavement path Gu masters' lives were extremely important. Thus, when they battled, there were often Gu masters in charge of protecting them. Ge tribe's actions were not overly protective. It was just a norm of the Gu master world. Chapter 453, Intense Battle, 2 of 3. Myriad Wolf King's attack caused all of Gu tribe to be nervous. Far away, Man Hong's eyes brightened. Is this Myriad Wolf King going to join the fight? But soon, his gaze dimmed. After Myriad Wolf King failed in its attack, it did not make another attack and instead continued sitting at the rear while commanding the wolf group. A branch of 1,000 wolf group moved over to fill the gap created due to the previous 1,000 wolf king's surrender. Crimson flames burned all over this 1,000 wolf king, and its nose let out thick black smoke from time to time. A rank 3 self-ignition goo. Fang Yuan recognized one of the goo. With this goo worm protecting the 1,000 wolf king, wolf enslavement goo smoke would be burned off before it even landed. Fang Yuan's eyelids twitched, and he glanced at the faraway Myriad Wolf King. Myriad Wolf King also seemed to be staring back at him. When beast evolves to Myriad Beast King stage, their intelligence would greatly surpass similar species, and this Myriad Wolf King was clearly indicating its decision to target Fang Yuan. Gu Guang, stay behind and cooperate with 3 elders to kill this wolf. As for the others, follow me. Fang Yuan turned around and walked. Subduing this 1,000 wolf king was not an impossible matter, but it would be very troublesome and time-consuming. This wolf was not suitable, so it was better to go to another. Anyway, the battlefield was so large, Fang Yuan did not believe all of them would have methods to suppress wolf enslavement goo. Sure enough, He moved around to several places and reaped great harvests. In just about 2 hours, he subdued 1,700 wolf kings and 2,000 wolf kings. Adding in all the wolves, Fang Yuan now had 4,000 wolf kings. Over 3,000 wolf kings and ordinary wolves were already over 8,000 in number. Nearing 10,000. Most of them were all turtleback wolves, but there was also 1,000 beast-level wind wolf king. Among the 100 wolf kings, there were also poison-beard wolf king, water wolf king, and wind wolf king. With his actions, the military strength between the two sides in the battlefield was being equalized. A portion of the 30,000-10,000 wolf group was incorporated by Fang Yuan into his troop and adding in countless deaths. The wolf group only had about 20,000 remaining now. The battle surged on like wildfire and good tribe leader eased his brows. Seeing the hope of victory, with Chang Shanin making his move, the pressure on my tribe's troops has greatly decreased. He's after all the legendary hero, his skills are truly exceptional. This is not strange, he is a rank 4 Gu master. Moreover, he walks the enslavement path. Such battlefields are his domain. All the elders praised, and the atmosphere in the main tent became relaxed. Don't be careless, Myriad Wolf King still has not made its move. The outcome of this battle is yet to be certain. Good tribe leader timely warned others. Lord tribe leader is right. We can't relax yet. In my opinion, this Myriad Wolf King might not join the fight. The wolf group has suffered huge losses. It is normal for the Wolf King to retreat in this situation. Huh? Not good. Just as they were talking of it, Myriad Wolf King suddenly let out a long howl. All the wolves in the battlefield simultaneously went into crazed offense when they heard this howl. Over 20,000 turtleback wolves charged towards the camp without caring for their lives. For a moment, the tribe was caught off guard and was utterly losing. Order the front line to quickly retreat to the second defensive line. The tribe leader immediately commanded. The wolf group is making an all-out attack. Gu Guang, who was on the front line, paled. Go help the Gu masters to retreat. I will go back to the ranch to rest and organize. Wait for my support. Fang Yuan's expression was dark. Lord, we have been ordered by the tribe leader to protect you. Some Gu masters hesitated. Fang Yuan opened his eyes and let out a sharp gaze. The Gu masters, where his gaze landed, all lowered their head. Gu Guang. Fang Yuan looked at the young tribe leader of Gu tribe. Ge Guang gritted his teeth. I shall listen to uncle. He then waved his hand. All of you follow me. Fang Yuan returned to the ranch alone. Surrounded by wolves, he gathered all the wolves together. With close to 10,000 wolves crowding together, this temporary ranch immediately felt narrow. Fang Yuan willed, and a strong, vigorous water wolf moved out of the wolf group. To ordinary people, this was a water wolf. But in Fang Yuan's eyes, it was a wide-eyes wolf. Wide-eyes wolf was a mutated beast, like Biao among tigers and lightning boar among boars. Every single ordinary adult mutated beast would attract wild Gu worms and possess the strength that could match myriad beast kings. However, this wide-eyes wolf was still in infancy and had not matured yet. The fur on its whole body was like water and was dyed with a light blue color, the appearance of a common water wolf. But as long as people carefully observed it, they would discover its pupils was more white with little black, greatly differing from ordinary water wolves. When it completely reached adulthood, its pupils would become white. At the same time, its vision would be greatly magnified, comparable to some rank 4 investigative Gu, and even at night, its vision would not be affected. Fang Yuan had accidentally discovered this wide-eyes wolf in the market. And without making any suspicious movements, he bought all the water wolves. At present, this wide-eyes wolf had already been planted with rank 3 wolf enslavement Gu by Fang Yuan. And to speed up its growth, he had used third watch Gu. This created a violent increase in the wide-eyes wolf's appetite, about 13 times more than the ordinary water wolves. Also, its lifespan had shortened. Go. Fang Yuan gave a command, and this wide-eyes wolf, whose speed already surpassed that of the wind wolves, quickly moved out of the ranch towards the higher grounds. Wolf care Gu. Fang Yuan covered his right eye and only used his left eye to look at the wide-eyes wolf. At the same time, he poured his primeval essence into Chang Shanyin's investigative Gu. Instantly, the scene in his left eye changed, as if he was overlooking the battlefield from a high ground. This was the ability of the wolf care Gu. It could share the sight of the specific wolf to the Gu master's eyes. Fang Yuan then opened his right eye, and 2 different scenes transmitted to his brain at the same time. His left eye showed the battlefield, letting him be clear on the situation, and his right eye showed the ranch where the wolves were crowded together. Fang Yuan summoned all the wolf kings and searched through the Gu worms in their body. If there were any rare Gu worms, Fang Yuan would take them, so as to not let them be destroyed in the battlefield, naturally. His main focus was the wolf enslavement goo. Wolf enslavement goo was a one-time expendable gu.to capture so many wolf kings. Fang Yuan had used up a lot of wolf enslavement goo. Generally speaking, wolf kings would have corresponding wolf enslavement goo on them. Sure enough, Fang Yuan got a rank 3 wolf enslavement goo and 5 rank 2 wolf enslavement goo from these wolf kings. As for other goo worms, they were all ordinary with only 1 or 2 being better. But they could not catch Fang Yuan's eyes, so he left them on the wolf kings to preserve their battle strength. Wolf smoke goo. Fang Yuan activated this rank 4 healing goo, which was especially used to heal the injuries on wolves. Surging smoke enveloped the whole ranch for a long time. Fang Yuan's primeval sea rapidly lowered to the bottom. The primeval essence consumption to heal so many wolves at once was very huge. When the primeval sea hit the bottom, Fang Yuan took out primeval stones and quickly recovered his primeval essence. After healing them twice more, Fang Yuan saw a tribe leader lead a group of elders and rush towards the front lines. Soon, intense explosions sounded out from the front lines. Through his left eye, Fang Yuan saw that the motionless myriad wolf king had also joined the fight. The tribe leader and others all went all out against it. With myriad wolf king joining the fight, there was a tremendous influence on the wolves, and under its lead, the wolf group began to fight with even more madness. The second defensive line of Gu tribe was also thus broken. Fortunately, with the canal blocking the way, most of Gu tribe's Gu masters could smoothly retreat towards the third defensive line and maintain the defense. For a moment, the atmosphere on the battlefield intensified to the extreme, causing great palpitation in the people. The third defensive line was the final defense. Behind it was the weakest mortals. In case it was broken through, the consequences would be unimaginable. There is no time to heal again. After recovering the primeval essence in his aperture to 90%, Fang Yuan looked at the surroundings. After 3 rounds of healing, the heavy injuries on these wolves had become light injuries while the light injuries were completely healed. Wolf howl goo. Fang Yuan howled towards the sky, letting out a furious howl like that of a wolf king. Under the effect of the goo worm, the wolf group on the ranch faintly enlarged, their energy inflated, and their battle strength multiplied. Fang Yuan laughed loudly and rode on a hump wolf. With a shift of his mind, the wolf group immediately started howling together. Howl, at this moment, when the sky was dyed red with the setting sun, when the wind was starting to blow strongly, and when the battle was raging. The wolf howl spread without restraint, traveling 1,000 li. Chang Shanin is making his move. Outside the battlefield, Man Hong and Man Hao's expression turned grave. Ge tribe, however, was jubilant. Chang Shanin, it is Lord Chang Shanin. We still have Lord Chang Shanin. Lord Chang Shanin is coming to support us. Everyone persevere. Step aside, open up a path for Lord Chang Shanin. Instantly, Gu tribe's troop morale rose rapidly. Fang Yuan sat upright on the hump wolf and lightly waved his hand. Close to 10,000 wolves surged forward, moving past the simplistic fence around the ranch, but they did not go to rescue the northern side, but instead moved towards the south. Just like the collapse of a large dam, a powerful flood burst out. The whole wolf group rapidly charged out of the camp. 1,200 wolf kings arranged as the arrowhead ruthlessly charged into the battlefield. The enemy wolf group had fought for a long time and was already exhausted, and now this new battle force attacked them, causing countless deaths and moments. With only one assault, Fang Yuan collapsed the offense of the turtleback wolves on the southern side of the camp. Wolf enslavement goo. Wolf enslavement goo. Wolf enslavement goo. Under the protection of the wolf group, Fang Yuan repeatedly activated 3 wolf enslavement goo. The enslavement goo changed into faint smoke and subdued 300 wolf kings in moments. Charge to the left. He willed it, and the whole wolf army smoothly changed direction and charged towards the southeast battle. Fang Yuan's gaze scanned the battle like an eagle and soon locked onto the 1,000 wolf king. 1,000 wolf king howled and did its utmost to command the wolf group. But most of the wolf group were deeply locked in the battle in the front line and would be difficult for them to turn around for a while. This 1,000 wolf king could only mobilize a few hundred wolves, which were easily drowned by Fang Yuan's army. Rank 3 wolf enslavement goo. Fang Yuan caught the chance, and a faint smoke drilled down into the 1,000 wolf king. This 1,000 wolf king might have been scared stiff as it let out a whimper. Its soul did not give any resistance and was quickly subdued. This was the 5th 1,000 wolf king. The wolf group that had been fighting with the Gu masters, under its beckoning, stopped the fight and gathered under Fang Yuan's army. The chaos at the southeast area immediately ceased. Chapter 454, Intense Battle, 3/3. The battle that the Gu Masters had been fighting with their lives on the line was settled in the blink of an eye. Their mortal enemies had instead become their allies. Is this the ability of Lord Changshan? Terrifying, terrifying, leading myriad wolf groups by himself. No wonder he is called Wolf King. Gu Masters looked at Fang Yuan with stupefied gazes. Their gazes looked at his receding figure, leaving this place towards another battlefield, moving unhindered, truly unhindered. All those who dared to block his way were completely swept away. Under his will, tens of thousands of wolves rushed forward. Under his indication, his troops moved everywhere, unrivaled. With just his lone strength, he was overturning the crisis, changing the whole situation. He was the light of the enslavement path. Outside the battlefield, Man Hong, Man Hao, and the rest all lost color in their face. Under their complicated gaze, Fang Yuan's wolf group rapidly expanded like a rolling snowball, getting bigger the more they killed. Everywhere they moved, they would leave behind ruins and a group of stupefied Gu Masters before they swaggered off. This wolf commanding tactic was simply unreasonable and also extremely domineering. Under this huge strength, small hindrances were directly crushed. Fang Yuan intentionally avoided the myriad Wolf King's battlefield and circled around the Gu tribe camp, subduing 3,000 Wolf Kings. In total, the number of 1,000 Wolf Kings he had reached 8. As for the number of 100 Wolf Kings, they had almost doubled, reaching 59. Fang Yuan's wolf formation was like a mythical beast, swallowing all turtleback wolves on its path and expanding itself. After repeatedly subduing these Wolf Kings, Fang Yuan's soul also suffered from backlash. He felt jittery and nauseous. Fang Yuan endured this feeling and gathered the wolf group before returning to the ranch. The ranch could not hold these wolves anymore. There were too many wolves. Fang Yuan also did not know the exact amount clearly. He could only guess the amount had surpassed 12,000. Fang Yuan did not hurry to join the battle. The situation was already determined now. He got off the hump wolf and closed his eyes to rest his spirit. Every set interval, he would open his eyes to observe the battlefield through the white eyes wolf's vision and keep an eye on the situation of Gu tribe leader and the others. These higher-ups of Gu tribe could not die. If they died, Man tribe might be roused into making a move. After resting for a while, although Fang Yuan had not fully recovered, there was no problem in commanding the wolves. He joined the battlefield again. This time, he only mobilized the 8,000 Wolf Kings to the battle. Ordinary wolves was too low of a threat against myriad Wolf King that on his way. Every good tribesman would call out his name loudly. Changshan, has come to assist. Hearing such voices, Gu tribe's higher-ups who were surrounding the myriad Wolf King all felt their spirits invigorated. Everyone, please take a step back and rest for a moment. Let me handle this. Fang Yuan reached the battlefield and under his will, the 8,000 Wolf Kings encircled the myriad Wolf King. Myriad Wolf King already had the intention to retreat, but whether it charged left or right, it could not break through the encirclement. Such wolf manipulation skills. Seeing the myriad Wolf King being played around by Fang Yuan, Man Hao, Man Hong, and the rest revealed astonished expressions. Previously, Fang Yuan had charged with grand troops, flattening everything on his way, so they were not able to see his wolf manipulating skill. Now, he was commanding the wolves meticulously, revealing the top-tier wolf manipulation skill of the northern plains. There were merely 8,000 Wolf King, and 7 of them could not display their full strength due to the pressure from the myriad Wolf King. However, under Fang Yuan's control, the myriad Wolf King felt like it was encircled by thousands of soldiers, as if it was a fly that was trapped in spider web. Finally, the myriad Wolf King was thoroughly exhausted to death by Fang Yuan, and in its final counterattack before death, it took away 1,000 Wolf King's life. Wolf King. Lord Changshan is truly the Wolf King. Looking at the myriad Wolf King's enormous body falling down loudly, all the Gu Masters cheered loudly. Wolf King. Wolf King. Wolf King. With this battle, everyone felt the nickname of Wolf King was truly fitting. The shouting surged one after another, and soon many joined in, shouting loudly with fervent gazes, and some even had tears falling from their eyes. This was a type of emotional feeling, a type of worship towards the heroes, reverence towards the strength. With this person here, it is easier said than done for us to annex Gu tribe. Manhong's expression looked ashen to the extreme. This battle had thoroughly dispelled his ambitions. Wolf King. Manhao, who had felt contempt towards Chongshan Yin, absent-mindedly muttered this name. He had never felt how heavy the weight of this name was as much as this moment. On the battlefield, Gu tribe leader brought the elders towards Fang Yuan. The might of the former hero still remains. Today's battle really makes me prostrate in admiration. I, on behalf of the whole Gu tribe, express my utmost gratitude to your favor of helping us. Gu tribe leader deeply bowed towards Fang Yuan. Brother Gu, you speak too highly of me. Let's clean up the battlefield quickly. Fang Yuan smiled. The myriad Wolf King's corpse was lying on the ground, but Fang Yuan did not take the matters into his own hand to avoid suspicion. If I had a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu, I could have taken in this turtleback wolf myriad Wolf King. Such a pity. Fang Yuan felt regret in his heart. Rank 4 beast enslavement, Gu could control myriad beast kings. A myriad beast group was a huge force to a tribe. Thus, normally, rank 4 beast enslavement Gu was not sold in the markets of northern plains, for the price of many Gu worms, once they reached rank 4, would rise sharply. Beast enslavement Gu was one of them. There was also relic Gu besides this. Fang Yuan had only been able to purchase rank 2 and rank 3 wolf enslavement Gu in the market, and did not get a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. Right now, I have a large amount of rank 2 and 3 wolf enslavement Gu. But it seems I will have to refine the rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu myself. Fang Yuan currently lacked rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. With rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu, he could control myriad Wolf King, and the burden on his soul to control the wolf group through the Wolf King would decrease by a lot. His mutated beast White Eyes Wolf was currently an infant and could be enslaved by rank 3 Gu. But once it matured, it would require rank 4 enslavement Gu, otherwise it would not listen to commands and could even flee. Lord, we have found a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. Right at this time, a Gu master that was searching through the myriad Wolf King's corpse shouted loudly. What? Gu tribe leader's eyes flashed brightly and soon after laughed. Haha. Precious Gu should fit a hero. This Gu should be give to Brother Chong. Although there was a great probability for a rank 4 beast enslavement Gu to reside in myriad beast king, Fang Yuan was still happy. There might have been some flaws in today's battle, but the outcome still made Fang Yuan very satisfied, and it was regretful to have killed the myriad Wolf King, but he was still able to obtain a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. This Gu worm's arrival was really at great timing. It had been a long time since Fang Yuan had such a good thing happen to him that he carefully accepted this Gu worm and said his goodbye to the Gu tribe's higher-ups. He did not even join in the celebratory banquet, using the excuse of refining this rank 4 Gu to evade it. Nightfall. The celebratory bonfire outside the tents was burning brightly. The victorious shouts and the cries for the casualties mixed together and spread towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged on the ground. His mind was calm as he looked in his aperture. The 90% primeval sea was tranquil, the water shining brightly like gold. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan had still not completely adapted to the northern plains. Thus there was still the suppression, causing his cultivation to temporarily stagnate. The true gold primeval essence looked amazing, but was useless right now. However, cultivation was only one part of strength. There were other ways for Fang Yuan to increase his strength. For example, the strength of Tenjun Gu he was currently holding. This Gu was also a rank 4 Gu, but its price was much lower than a rank 4 beast enslavement Gu. And because it could be easily refined and the manufacturing costs were also low, it was rather common in the market. Strength of Tenjun Gu did not look anything special, looking just like a common iron weight. Fang Yuan poured primeval essence to it. It then floated above Fang Yuan and let out dreamy light, which shone upon Fang Yuan's whole body, engraving some Tao marks of the strength path on Fang Yuan's body. After a while, the strength of Tenjun Gu suddenly let out a slight explosion and broke into pieces, falling down on Fang Yuan's hair. Strength of Tenjun Gu was an expendable Gu. This was the third strength of Tenjun Gu Fang Yuan had used. Fang Yuan shook off the iron pieces and grasped his fists, feeling an increased strength. The strength increase has reached a bottleneck. Next, I need to enhance my skeleton, skin, tendons, and so on, to cause the water bucket, my body, to become deeper, larger, and firmer, so it can hold even more strength. Fang Yuan's gaze flashed as he took out a wolf soul goo. This is the final wolf soul goo. Fang Yuan poured his primeval essence into the wolf soul goo. The wolf soul goo burst and changed into a gray wolf soul that smashed into his body. 100-man soul and wolf soul tangled with each other. The difficulty this time was many times more than before. Previously, when Fang Yuan used the wolf soul goo, he only had over 3,000 wolves under him. Now, after today's battle, he had taken in many wolf kings, and thus the burden on his soul was much bigger. Fang Yuan's brows furrowed into a knot, sweat perspired out of his forehead, and he gritted his teeth to persevere. Finally, the 100-man soul and the wolf soul merged together. Boom! A soft sound echoed in his ears. The long-term quantitative accumulation had brought a qualitative change at this moment. 100-man soul had thoroughly changed into the wolfman soul. The wolfman soul looked like a gray color that had been condensed to an extreme. The soul's appearance was mostly like Fang Yuan's, except the bridge of the nose was longer, eyes sharper, and his body thinner. There were 2 sharp wolf ears, long hair that reached his waist, and a hairy wolf tail that grew out of his butt. With the formation of the wolfman's soul, Fang Yuan felt relaxed as if he had gotten rid of a very heavy burden in his mind. The connection to the wolves became much more close, and he could even feel a faint familiar feeling from the Wolf King's souls. This was not there when he had the 100-man soul. After forming the wolfman's soul, Fang Yuan gained the aura of a wolf, causing these Wolf Kings to think him as one of their species. Thus, it was no longer the pure suppression using the 100-man soul, but also a feeling of approval from the wolves. 100-man soul was almost reaching its limits after enslaving so many wolves. Now, with Wolfman soul, I can take in 3 times more Wolf Kings. It is just that there will probably be few opportunities like today. But the grassland is so big and the wolf group are plenty, I will at least be able to double this wolf group on our way to the hero's assembly. Looking at the large amount of rank 2 wolf enslavement goo in his aperture, many rank 3 wolf enslavement goo and 1 rank 4 wolf enslavement goo, Fang Yuan was full of expectations towards the future. Chapter 455, Night Assault. There were few stars in the sky. Bone-chilling wind blew through the grassland at night. 2 hump wolves were moving through this night, carrying Goo Tribe's investigative Goo Masters, 1 old and 1 young. Huff, huff, huff. So cold. The young Goo Master curled up his body and blew out hot air. I told you to wear some more clothes, but you didn't want to. This is called suffering from not listening to your elders. The old Goo Master laughed. He was wearing a thick leather robe with long sleeves and long boots, along with a felt hat. He did not feel the slightest bit of cold. Uncle, this is my first time scouting. I lack experience. The young Goo Master mumbled in a soft voice before swearing, F***CK. When I go out to scout tomorrow, I will definitely wear the thickest clothes. It should not be overly thick. Overly thick clothes will only affect your movement in battle. Moreover, you are likely to doze off if it is too warm. We are the eyes of Goo Tribe. We need to be vigilant at all times. The best would be clothes that will keep you just warm, so you will feel cold if you stay still for long. This will urge you to keep on scouting. The old Goo Master shared his experience solemnly. It was already the 3rd day since the battle with the turtleback wolves. The old Goo Master's partner had died in the battlefield, thus the young Goo Master was sent over to make up for the gap. The young Goo Master was still inexperienced and needed the old Goo Master's guidance. Uncle, the young Goo Master was just about to open his mouth. Shush. The old Goo Master suddenly stretched out his hand to signal a stop. His eyes squinted and looked at the light that suddenly emerged far away. What is that? The old Goo Master was immediately on guard. He used his investigative goo but could not make out anything. Kid, use your hand-ear goo to listen. The old Goo Master commanded. Yes. The young Goo Master did not dare to be careless. He immediately turned over his body and got off the hump wolf and stretched out his right hand. He transferred primeval essence towards his right palm. Grass sprouted out from the palm, creating a flesh bud. The flesh bud then opened up to form an ear. The young man closely stuck this ear on the ground and attentively listened. There is nothing other than the sound of the wind. The young Gu master did his best to listen, but got no result. He laughed. Uncle, are you trying to scare me? There is not even a fart. The battle just ended, so maybe I was too nervous. The old Gu master heaved a sigh. He again looked at a distance, but there was nothing unusual. He felt his eyesight might have blurred just before. What is there to be nervous about? There is the old tribe leader here, and we also have the Wolf King Chang Shan Yin with us. There is no need to be afraid even if another group of turtleback wolves come. The young man's gaze flashed when he talked of Fang Yuan, unable to conceal the worship in his eyes. Yes, it is indeed our tribe's fortune to have the help of the Wolf King. The old Gu master sighed as he recalled the scene in the battlefield. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of arrows quickly moving through the air spread towards them. Who? The old Gu master shouted. He subconsciously jumped off the hump wolf and smoothly rolled several times. Thud, thud, thud. Sharp bone spears pierced the ground one after another. Enemy attack. The old Gu master had this thought the first moment. He quickly stood up and hurriedly warned towards the young Gu master. The young man had already been pierced by a bone spear and had died on the spot. The old Gu master's heart twitched, but he did not have the time to grieve. Immediately taking out a signal Gu from his aperture, but before he was able to activate it, he was hit by a fatal attack. He stiffly stood on the spot like a statue. A line of blood slowly appeared on his neck, becoming clearer and clearer. Finally, his head inclined towards the side and fell on the ground, completely separated from the neck. Fresh blood spurted out like a geyser from his neck. Several figures walked out of the darkness. Leading them was Man Tribe's external elder Shiwu. He looked at the two corpses and proudly said, "These ants, killing them is as easy as flipping my palm. Lord Elder is formidable. With Lord Elder here, Gu Tribe's investigative Gu masters are only empty shells." Several Gu masters following behind flattered. Shiwu narrowed his eyes in joy and looked towards the direction of the Gu Tribe's troops. Humph. This Gu Tribe could win earlier because of their scouting, being able to make ample preparation in advance. This time, Lord Tribe Leader has dispatched almost all the elders. Gu Tribe will not be able to escape the calamity this time. Hee. I really want to see the shocked and frightened expressions on these people when 10,000 Night's Wolves attack them at once. Gu Tribe might have already been on the move for several days, leaving Hong Yin Valley and succeeding in defeating the Turtleback Wolf group. But Man Tribe had no intention to let them go. 3 days after the attack of the Turtleback Wolf group, Man Tribe Gu Masters secretly led Night Wolf group to make the second wave of attack on Gu Tribe. At the same time, Man Tribe's elders also moved out to kill large numbers of Gu Tribe's investigative Gu Masters. A large conspiracy against Gu Tribe was already unfolding when this 10,000 wolf group was discovered. They were only 100 li away from the camp. Wolf attack. Wolf attack. An investigative Gu master observing from a watchtower shouted, "Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh." Several signal Gu were shot out into the sky, bursting into bright fireworks. Everyone get up. There is an attack. It is a group of 10,000 night wolves. The Gu tribesmen who were in a deep sleep were startled awake. Quick, notify the tribe leader. Investigative Gu masters rushed about as quickly as they could. Human figures gradually appeared from everywhere in the Gu tribe camp. Doubts and panicked shouts mixed to form a commotion. In the main tent. Gu tribe leader's expression paled when he got this news. Those damned investigative Gu masters. This was the first thought of the old tribe leader, but he soon frowned. Even if the night wolves were difficult to detect at night, but with so many night wolves, why hadn't the investigative Gu masters reported sooner? His sharp senses smelled a trace of conspiracy. He quickly threw these thoughts to the back of his mind. It was not the time to think of these. The night wolves are already so close to the camp, there is no time to construct defensive lines. What do we do? In this boundless darkness, there was no clear intel on the enemy situation. Ge tribe leader only knew this wolf group was large, at least a 10,000 wolf group. But he did not know if there were other wolf group or if Man Tribe's Gu masters were hiding in the surroundings. At this urgent moment, Gu tribe leader could not think of a countermeasure and could only send an order. Send my command. All Gu tribe Gu masters shall gather in the main tent. The night wolf group was fast and had reached the camp. The wolf group is here. Block them. We must block them. Quick, activate light sphere Gu. A Gu master who was at the front line shot out a rank 2 light sphere Gu towards the sky. Under the illumination of the light sphere, the densely packed night wolf group showed their appearances. These night wolves were thin with strong posture. They had black glossy skin but had no fur. Their black pupils and claws gave off a cruel light. 100 Wolf King growled and charged over. My God. The Gu master could only shout in shock before he was killed instantly by the Wolf King. The Night Wolf group was like a torrent, bursting through the simplistic stakes around the camp, and started their massacre. Right now, Tribe's Gu masters were still gathering towards the central main tent. The vast outer camp had already turned into a site of the netherworld. The wolves were howling excitedly, humans were wailing in grief, and the cries of fear bursted forth together. Night wolves were fast, and were tearing through the tents. Many mortals who were still in their sleep died cruelly under their claws. They used death and blood as a warning. The inner camp was in an uproar. The terrified humans surged out and tried to run away, trampling over each other. A night raid. The tribe leader stood outside the main tent. The corners of his eyes were almost tore open at this sight. His heart was bleeding. The wolf group's massacre indeed caused many deaths, but even more deaths were caused by the people trampling on each other. Such a chaotic situation was already beyond control, causing the Gu tribe leaders' plan to counterattack after organizing the troops to be in vain. Most of the Gu masters were trapped among the chaos. Only many of the elders and a few elite Gu masters were able to successfully gather in the main tent. Our advantage is no more. The tribe leader closed his eyes in pain. His body was cold as he fell into deep despair and grief. With this battle, even if we luckily gather in the remaining people, the tribe will fall down to a small-scale tribe. The tribe had fallen in my hands. I am ashamed to face my ancestors. I am the tribe's sinner. In the main tent, some elders were shouting, some had lifeless expressions, and some were panicking. The tribe is still not finished. Everyone, there is only one way left to turn around this situation. Following the sound, Fang Yuan walked into the main tent. Ge tribe leader's eyes brightened like a drowning person finding a life-saving log. Brother, please speak quickly. He looked at Fang Yuan and asked hurriedly. Fang Yuan got right to the point and said resolutely, "Now, the camp is in chaos. We cannot simply defend. The situation has gone out of control. Only by using offense as defense can we have a chance at survival." "Wolf King, your meaning is?" the tribe leader mumbled. Everyone looked at each other. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. "Brother Gu, did you forget that I have a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu with me?" He looked at everyone's expressions and continued. "The ones here are all Gu tribe's elites, its strongest battle strength. We will form into a group and immediately move out, flowing against the wolf raid towards the myriad wolf king. In the battle, I will subdue the myriad wolf king, and the whole situation will turn around." Everyone's expressions changed. This was a thoroughly messed up plan. One should know, Gu masters would rely on terrain advantage to resist the myriad beast group and fight a war of attrition, but even this would create huge casualties. Now, Fang Yuan wanted them to use their blood and flesh body to charge against the offense of the myriad beast group and kill myriad wolf king among the countless wolves. This was simply courting doom. This method was too risky. If someone else said it, they would have been furiously rebuked and even ruthlessly ridiculed it. However, it was Chang Shan proposing it which caused everyone to fall into silence. "Madness. This is complete madness." An elder mumbled. Others showed hesitant expressions. Going against the momentum of the wolf group would result in deaths 9 out of 10 times. Frankly speaking, it was asking them to give up their lives in exchange for the survival of the whole clan. These rank 3 Gu masters had been higher-ups for a long time and would normally be living luxuriously. All of them cherished their lives.